Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, I have something I want you to take a look at.
Yeah, I've got about all the crappy suitcases I need, bud.
Well, this isn't just any case. This is a hybrid rocket mounted in a case.
A hybrid rocket?
Did I hear that this is a rocket?
What, your nerd radar go off?
It's a pretty cool thing to have. I've always been into building things, and I actually built a rocket-powered bicycle. It got me kicked out of the dorm in college. I'm hoping to get $3,000 for it, just because the parts are high value.
Where did you get this?
I work for a rocket scientist in Huntsville, and he gave it to me.
This is like a demonstration model or something like that?
Yeah. We basically needed a way to show off the technology. Its designer was the chief propulsion engineer for Spaceship One, and that became Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, which is going to take very rich people to space.
This is pretty damn cool. I cannot believe that we have the engine prototype for Richard Branson's Galactic. This might not look like much, but this shows the principles used in a rocket engine that will take people to space one day. What we think of as a rocket really wasn't invented until World War II by the Nazis. The V-2 rocket that were next to impossible to shoot down because they were so damn fast.
Right.
Well, how much thrust does the thing put out?
You get about 5 pounds.
Okay, this thing weighs more than that, so we're gonna have rocket thrust, but this thing isn't going anywhere.
Right. We've balanced it right so that it won't go off into your neighbor's house or something.
Okay. What does it run off of?
But it runs off of nitrous oxide and plastic acrylic.
The nitrous oxide, you have a tank down here or something like
Yeah,
that?
there's a small tank.
Goes into this tube, it gets real hot, which strips the nitrogen from the oxygen, so you have oxygen that burns with the acrylic.
Right.
How the hell do you know all that?
Because I read books on chemistry and rocket science.
You should read a book on being a better father.
So what are all these knobs and everything?
This knob is what controls the amount of nitrous oxide. Then you have the acrylic here, and we made it so you can see the combustion happening on the inside. This is where you fill nitrous oxide at. This is where you can attach an igniter if you want to use the button to ignite it.
Does it work?
Oh yeah, I can fire it right up.
Let's bring it in my back lot. We're not firing it up in here.
All right.
This rocket does get a lot of cool points, but if it works, the inner nerd in me really wants it.
All right, so I've got the fuse in. I'm just gonna use a regular lighter, and I'm gonna light the fuse.
And then when it burns in there, you turn on the nitrous oxide.
Yeah.
That's really high-tech lighting system for a rocket.
Yeah, it's the best way.
Nice. Holy sh**. Look at that thing. That's incredible. I was kind of hoping it would be spectacular, blast around, giant flame, but it was still pretty cool. Big question is, what do you want for it? I don't mean to be mean, but I was expecting a 20-foot flame and things like that.
We're looking for 3,000. It's got a lot of really high-pressure valves, fittings.
I don't see $3 grand. I just don't.
What do you see?
I was thinking like $100.
I got a lot more money in this than parts.
But who am I gonna sell it to?
Hey, you ever know when a rocket scientist is gonna walk in?
But a rocket scientist is the kind of guy who would build this himself. You're stuck at $3 grand?
I could go 2,500, but that's about all.
It's just not gonna happen, dude.
Yeah, well, I guess we don't have a deal then.
Thanks though, dude.
Yeah, thanks for seeing. This thing was definitely worth $3,000. It takes a lot of time to design and build and research everything. I definitely think he made a mistake not making a deal.
How can I help you?
I brought you my pistol rocket rescue set.
All right,
You can open her up if you want.
looks like a flare gun to me.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I'm here at the pawn shop today to sell my pistol rocket rescue set. Probably from World War II. It was a life-saving device that was on certain military ships. I'm hoping to get $1,450 for the set. I believe it's worth that much because I've not seen one before, and all the parts are there.
This is interesting. Sherman pistol rocket apparatus. This apparatus could fire a line over 200 yards to help rescue people. These would have been really popular in World War II. If your ship's over a certain size, you have to actually have something like this on board to rescue people. There would have been shipwrecks, and someone could have shot a boat, and it could have started to sink, and this would have been a way to be able to pull people into the boat. I'm sure these things saves thousands and thousands of lives. What do we got here?
Do you remember the grappling hook from Batman?
Yeah.
That's one of those.
Okay. Sherman pistol line throwing rocket, 2 pounds, range 250 yards. This actually looks like the projectile, so I'm imagining you put it down in here and load it up. You probably put some type of cap in there. Maybe that's what's in here. Cartridges, yeah, so probably what happens, it looks like you would tie this metal piece onto the rope right here, because the way this rope is folded, it looks like it's meant to come out evenly and straight. So have you ever fired this before?
Never fired it before.
Okay. World War II stuff is highly collectible, and this seems to have the stuff in here to actually, like, fire it. So, how much would you like to get for it?
I'd like to get $1,450.
Okay, you gotta give me a better price than $1,450. That's way too high for me.
I can't let it go for less than $1,200.
I don't think I could buy it for much more than $500.
Really?
I mean,
you yourself said it. It's one of a kind. It's complete.
Well,
it's got
I
all
didn't
the
say it's one of a kind. The military made these, but it does seem to be complete. But to be fair, I don't even know if it works. If I knew that this thing works, I maybe could pay a little bit more.
You do $750?
How about $625? I think that's really good. And I do think that maybe I can probably get $800, maybe $850 for it on a good day.
Okay.
We got a deal?
We got a deal.
All right, I'll meet you up over here at the counter and we'll write it up.
Thanks, man. I wanted $1,450 for the set, but I'm glad he threw me a line and gave me $625.
What is that?
This is a pistol rocket thingy-majigger.
Shimuli, I can't pronounce that.
Pistol rocket apparatus. Here is the main part of it. Kind of looks like a flare gun, but with like a pipe hook attached to it. This is the rocket apparatus.
Do not load it.
I won't.
Please do not load it.
It loads in there like this. You put it in there like that, okay? And then you would tie this end of the rocket to rope to shoot out into the water to people that are abandoning a ship.
How much did you pay for it?
$625.
How did you come up with the number 625?
That's the lowest number they were willing to take.
Okay. Can you... Maybe Alex will know something about it. Call Alex.
He's just gonna tell you how good I am. Hey, Alex, how's it going?
Hey, chum. I'm doing well. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just out here making Rick money day in and day out. You know the deal. I'm giving you a call because I bought something I want you to check out. First, I'll show you this. A Sherman pistol rocket apparatus. Maybe that tells you what it is right off the top. But it has the pistol, and it has the rockets in there, and I think it's all here. And Rick is kind of doubting my purchase skills right now.
Well, I have never even seen a complete set, let alone rockets. Let me see the bottom of the rocket. Yes. So you see that red cover? That's a waterproof cover, and that hasn't been penetrated. So that means that rocket's unfired. Are they all like that?
Yeah, all 5 of them are like that.
5? Are there really 5?
Yeah, is that bad?
Well, no. You're only supposed to have 4 in a set, so having a 5th is actually really good. I've never seen unfired rockets. I would say we should try to fire one and see if it works.
All right, we can try to shoot it.
So I paid $625 for it. What do you think?
Let me just say it's worth more than you paid. How much more is to be determined.
Thanks, Alex.
See you when you get it
All
down.
right, guys, take care.
Well, I think the smile on Alex's face lets us know I did a pretty good job.
I think you did an all right job, but we don't know how much money we're gonna make off it.
Oh, we know. Couple racks.
A what?
Couple racks.
Iraq is a country.
Or it's $1,000 in chips, hence the word Iraq. I'm gonna go put this up.
I'll never understand it. Alex!
Hello, boys.
What do we got going on there?
This is handcrafted at my very own shop.
Oh, what is it?
Well, you want to fire this thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, the rockets are like 80 to 100 years old, so I'm not going to hold it and fire it. We got to remote fire it so we can be back a safe distance.
Okay. So here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Oh, this
It's all
is
complete.
beautiful.
You did a great job buying it.
Yeah.
I always do a great job.
You really did do a good job. So, as it says, it's the Schumerly pistol rocket apparatus. Originally, this guy, William Schumerly, started working on a replacement to what was called the Lyle gun. A Lyle gun was essentially like a cannon, and it was developed by an officer in the US Navy at the end of the 19th century. And it had the same idea. It would fire a rescue line to a distressed ship. But the Lyle gun was really hard to operate. The big difference between this and some of the earlier versions of line throwers is they actually used these cartridges. Oh, I mean, these things are mint. That's got to be 80 years old. It looks like it's brand new. So these cartridges are essentially blanks. You put it into the gun, it fires, and then it hits the back of the rocket. Now, this is a waterproof seal. It'll bust through the waterproof seal, and inside is the propellant. It'll ignite the propellant, and then these literally work like a bottle rocket.
That's really cool. All right, let's get this set up.
Okay? The rockets are almost 80 years old. You don't know what's happened to that propellant. They have water-sealed caps on the ends. There's no way to inspect them. So the propellant could actually strengthen over time, which is why I want to remote fire it. There's no way I'm going to hold this thing and fire it because it could blow up. Ready?
Let's fire this thing.
3,
2, 1.
1.
Well, that was cool.
I wonder if the guy in that airplane freaked out.
Yes.
So I paid $625 for it, and I think every penny was well spent because that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a good deal.
Well, we spent 20% of it.
Well, you had 5 rockets. The complete set only had 4. So in this condition, not touched since World War II, you're looking at $1,500.
Okay.
Another win for Chum.
Well done.
How about a good job, Chum?
Good job, chum. Reloading all this line. Let's go have some lunch.
Yeah, hungry. Love shooting that rocket. That was awesome.
You guys are really gonna go to lunch without me. Or at least order me some chicken wings.
Howdy.
Hey, what do we got here?
I have a rocket engine that was used to train the astronauts before they landed on the moon.
So you have a rocket engine.
I do.
Super cool. When they first built the lunar landing training vehicle, it wasn't that stable. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Neil Armstrong had to eject out of the thing when it crashed.
I'm looking to sell my Apollo lunar lander training vehicle rocket engine. I got this rocket engine from Edwards Air Force Base at a surplus auction. I'm asking for $20,000 for this rocket engine because it was directly connected to the Apollo astronauts that went to the moon and came back.
That's really cool. This is one of the rockets from the lunar lander training vehicle?
That's correct. This was removed from lunar landing test vehicle number 3.
Wow. This right here was a major, major part of NASA, and it was never really talked about that much. They had this crazy vehicle. It simulated the moon's gravity, which is a lot less than ours. Now, somewhere over here, there was a tank of 90% hydrogen peroxide, and somewhere past that was probably a nitrogen tank with like a few thousand pounds PSI. And right around here, there was a valve. And they would open that up, and it would shoot hydrogen peroxide down there. When you have that pure of hydrogen peroxide, it immediately reacts.
Right.
And creating 500 pounds of thrust. Okay, so right here we have...
That's actually the paperwork that came with this engine that was issued by NASA, and it has the vehicle number. And if you look, the paperwork correlates with this tag.
And you got pictures of it here in the book?
Yeah, so if you can see, the engines are actually installed in a bank of 4 on the chassis of the LLTV.
Ah, that's amazing.
Yep.
It's epic. I'll give you that. How much do you want for it?
20,000. The flown rocket engines are very rare,
I know
especially
they're
with
very,
that
very rare.
traceable provenance.
I'll give you 10 grand for it.
I would be hesitant to let it go at that price. I'll counter with 16,000.
I mean, the thing is, I have no idea what this thing's gonna sell for. You have amazing provenance, hasn't been in space. I'll take a shot at 11,000.
Can you do 15?
I'll do 11,000.
Congratulations, you've got yourself an artifact.
So we got a deal.
Yeah?
All right, I'll meet you right over there. We'll do some paperwork and I'll get you paid.
Okay, thank you.
All right, no problem.
I didn't get my asking price today, but now that it's gone, it's one less thing taking up space.
I can't find it, Corey.
Ooh, it's got to be here somewhere, Joe.
I don't know.
Guys,
What's up?
possibly the coolest thing the pawn shop has ever bought.
What's that?
A hydrogen peroxide throttable rocket engine from the lunar landing training vehicle.
You bought a rocket motor.
That's a rocket engine. It's a real NASA rocket engine. And guess who probably controlled this engine?
Buzz Lightyear.
Neil Armstrong,
Neil Armstrong did.
the first man ever to walk on the moon.
What'd you
But
pay for it?
I paid $11,000 for it.
Hey, if you're gonna put it on a shelf, no one's gonna know what it is.
I am probably going to end up selling to someone, okay? A NASA collector who will go nuts over this.
It's an $11,000 paperweight, Dad.
Okay, it's not a paperweight. This is the coolest thing I have ever seen. It inspires me to build a rocket myself.
Do you really think that you know somebody?
You know, son, obviously, you guys don't appreciate it like I do. I understand that. Some people are just shallow.
Dad, don't hurt yourself, please.
I could build a rocket if I wanted to.
Your dad has no idea what he's talking about if he thinks that's the coolest thing that's ever been to this shop.
The coolest thing that's ever came in the shop is me every morning. All right, it's
Far from it, but sure, whatever floats your boat, Big Hoss.
What's up, guys?
Is this the rocket you built?
Yes, this is the rocket I built.
This ain't a rocket. This is a firework.
Remember when we used to launch these when you were a kid?
Yeah, I remember launching them when I was a kid, but like this is a child thing, man. I thought you were
No. The little ones like that bigger child things. That thing's almost 6 feet tall.
You only get one use out of that.
No, you get multiple uses out of it. It's got parachutes. And when I say parachutes, I mean plural, 2 parachutes.
All right, Rocket Man, let's see what you got.
Are you ready, chum?
Yeah?
This is the safety key. See, it's armed.
All right, well, let's make it dangerous.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, blast off!
And there went your rocket.
It's right there. Where's the parachute?
It did. The parachutes didn't.
It's a lawn dart.
No, I built it right. I know I built it right. It was supposed to come in 2 pieces.
It's gonna hit your truck. Oh!
Good job, Dad.
That was a tough one, Rick.
I know I put it together right.
That dual parachute thing seemed to work out really well, huh?
Look, Rick. It's perfectly intact. Where's the parachute?
Oh, I'm wrong.
You want to take off while he figures that out?
Yeah. We'll leave you here to figure that out, Rocket Man.
You want to help me get the launch pad stuff?
No, I'm good.
I got a shop to help run. See you back at the shop, Rick.
See ya.
How can I help you?
Hey, how's it going? I brought in this old jet rocket toy.
You mind if I open it up?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, looks like we're going to space today.
I think so. I'm at the pawn shop today to try to sell my vintage jet rocket toy. This toy looks to me to be probably from around the 1950s. The whole time I've had this rocket, I've had it safely displayed in a showcase to try to preserve the condition of the box and the toy. I'm aiming for the sky on this one. I'm asking $400 for my vintage jet rocket toy.
This is pretty cool, man. What's the story behind this? Where did you get it?
I bought it at an auction. I just thought it was really cool.
It is really cool. It kind of has that 1950s feel to it. And in the 1950s, you know, toys like this were really starting to become popular. This would have been marketed to young boys, and in the 50s we were in a space craze. So boys wanted to play with anything that had to do with space. And this would have been really cool because you could build it, you could actually shoot it up into the air, and you could imagine yourself traveling into space. Vintage toys from this period are very collectible. The box does seem a little beat up though, but it is probably from the 50s or 60s, but it does have a lot of damage on it. And do you know if it's complete?
It looks complete. I'm not 100% sure.
And you seem to have the instructions. How to fly your Aero jet range rocket. I'm one of those guys who looks at the pictures of the instructions and doesn't read it, and this is right up my alley because it shows you exactly what to do. So what are you looking to do with this?
I would like to sell it.
And how much are you looking to get?
400.
Okay, I actually have no idea what it's worth. There is some rust on the can. The box is in bad condition, and it looks like we had a little fire accident on the landing pad or something. There's some type of burn in there. So I'm first gonna have someone come down and take a look at it, let me know what he thinks about the condition, and to tell me if it's complete or not.
Sounds great.
All right, give me just a few minutes.
Okay. I think the condition of the rocket is great, and I'm confident that the expert will value it meeting my asking price.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
I got something here I'm not exactly sure about. Have you ever seen an Aero jet range rocket?
So this company, the Ranger Steel Company, they were primarily known in the toy world of making like really kind of like intricate lithograph toys. It's like billiards tables with actual pool players that functioned. So the arm would pull back and fire the pool cue, all highly detailed, and the colors for their stuff were really great. And that's indicated in the box art, as you can see here.
Yeah, the colors are really good, and that's another question I had because the picture looks amazing, but as you can see, there's some issues with the box. We've got some creasing and some fraying and rips and tape, but I think all the parts are here, and we do have the instruction pamphlet.
Well, when you think about these type of items, these boxes were not made to pass the test of time. And the fact that the whole box is here, I think, is a nice piece to have. Do you mind if I take a look at it?
Sure.
So what I'm looking at here is it looks like I see all the parts that should have been here. It looks like it's never been used. The pellets look unopened. You have the original instructions. It's a neat item to see, and it's great. And it does look like everything's complete. And the bigger thing, I think, is that the rocket's not broken, which means it wasn't used.
Well, what kind of value do you think this has on it?
I think in this condition, I think you'd have no problem getting $350 for the set.
All right, well, thanks for coming down, Steve. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, well, we heard what Steve had to say, and it does have a pretty good value, pretty close to what you were asking for. Would you take $175 for it?
That's a really good takeoff point, probably, but maybe land this rocket more like around $250.
How about $200? Gives us both a little wiggle room there.
Maybe meet me in the middle at $225.
I'd prefer $210, but I guess I can do $225.
I'll do $225 and call it a deal.
All right, meet me at the counter over here. I'll write you up and get you $225.
Sounds good. $225. It's not rocket science. I took the deal because I only paid $50 for it.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, good. How are you?
What do we got here?
That's a piece of Apollo 13 heat shield.
Dallas, we have a problem.
It's Houston.
Texas, isn't it?
I decided to come to the pawn shop today to sell my piece of Apollo 13 heat shield. I think it's priceless, actually, but I'm thinking somewhere around $50,000, $60,000.
Where in the world did you get that?
My father was a model maker for NASA, and when they would get the capsules back, they would encapsulate them like this, and they give them to whoever could get the budget for NASA. I think it's pretty cool because it's been in space.
The fact that a piece of Apollo 13 might be sitting in my store right now blows my mind. Apollo 13 wasn't a huge deal. We'd already landed on the moon twice, but then something went catastrophically wrong. There was an explosion inside the oxygen tank, and they had to MacGyver everything back together and get back to Earth. Apollo 13 is an incredible story. James Lovell and the rest of the astronauts should have never made it back alive. They were literally using a sextant to navigate by the stars to get back to the Earth.
What do you need heat tiles on a rocket for?
It's going so fast that the air rubbing against the side of the capsule creates so much heat from friction, the aluminum will melt if it's just bare aluminum. There's no paperwork or anything with it?
Nope.
They just give it to you like this? Is it written on it anywhere?
No.
Yeah, I just don't know if this is something your dad made in his garage, put in some lucite and said, hey, look, son, a piece of a rocket.
Tell what kind of father he was.
If you don't mind, a friend of mine is the curator of an aerospace museum, so he knows everything there is to know about this stuff. Let me have him take a look at it, and then we'll try and figure out a price, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Sounds
great.
Thank you.
So what do we have?
That's a piece of Apollo 13 heat shield.
I'm the administrator of the Clark County Museum, the Howard W. Cannon Aviation Museum, and the Searchlight Community Museum down in Searchlight, Nevada. With Apollo 13, one of the things that happened is, the oxygen tank blew up. That was the one that, didn't make it to the moon and just barely made it back. But on that one, they kept the service module attached to the command module because they were worried about the heat shield. One of the things that they were worried might have happened when the oxygen tank blew up is that it might have damaged the heat shield. If it had, everybody was dead.
It did make it to the moon, though, or they did?
Well, it went around the moon.
Right.
It never came down. They had to. In order for them to get back to Earth, they had to keep going, go around the moon and slingshot back to the Earth. Apollo 13 had to do all kinds of technological work during the flight just to be able to survive. It's probably one of the most interesting missions, certainly the most dangerous. The thing about this on an Apollo, like on a Gemini, this was not individual tiles. On this, the whole heat shield worked as a unit for dissipating the temperature that was being built up as the capsule came back in. They didn't know on Apollo 13 until they came back in whether or not the heat shield was intact.
Just imagine yourself stranded in space and somehow getting yourself back to Earth, and then having no idea whether the heat shield was going to hold up or not. Unbelievable what these guys went through. So it's definitely a heat shield off an Apollo mission?
It seems right to me that it is part of the heat shield, but unfortunately, because they took these out of all of the missions,
Right.
I don't know of any way of saying that this was Apollo 13 if it wasn't marked or you don't have something from your father.
If there was some way to prove it was from Apollo 13, there'd be a lot of collectors out there for it?
Yes, it would be huge.
Okay. All right, you're the best.
Thank you.
All right, this is my favorite part.
So how much did you want for it?
Well, I wouldn't be willing to take anything less than $50,000.
Oh, no, 50,000 is not gonna happen. There's collectors out there, but they're only willing to spend so much money. So, I'm figuring I'd give you like $2,000 for it.
I'd be willing to come down on it to $30,000, $35,000, but any lower than that, I just prefer to keep it my family.
Yeah, I couldn't come near that price. To tell you the truth, we're just so far apart, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing it in, though. Thanks.
Thank you. They made an offer, and it wasn't a good enough offer for me, so it was very easy to walk away from $2,000.
Hey, Rick, do you have a minute?
Oh, that is cool. Darren is one of the owners here at Julian's Auction House, and quite frankly, I never thought there'd be so much stuff I want to buy. That is cool. I'm in heaven.
This is a rocket ship model that was used by the film studios for the Flash Gordon serials back in the 1930s.
Flash Gordon, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It was the cheesiest, most inexpensively shot thing you've ever seen in your life.
Super cheeseball, but every sci-fi fan will acknowledge super cool, too. This originally was owned by a world-renowned toys and props collector who got this from the studios back in the 1960s. I think this thing is worth in the $100,000 range.
This is really, really neat.
My specialty's not in the sci-fi.
Okay, Flash Gordon was really the first TV series.
Right.
In the 1930s, there was no televisions, obviously, but every Saturday, when you went to the movies, there was the serials, and this was the big one. There'd be a double feature, and right between the double features was an episode of Flash Gordon.
Right.
What made Flash Gordon so popular? It was the first real sci-fi series. It captivated the imagination of kids across this country. I want this. But that's odd that it would have Universal and Fox.
Originally, Fox Films, with the film Just Imagine, they had a very similar rocket ship model. And then Universal obtained some models from Fox to use in the Flash Gordon. So this might have even been around for Just Imagine.
Okay.
I can see you want this to be your baby, so I'll let you have it.
Okay. Darren has been absolutely great. I feel bad that I'm trying to take something away from one of his auctions, but when opportunity knocks, I'm just in love with it. But I've seen a lot of these old props from back then. And, you know, my big concern with it, it's too nice. I have a friend that does props.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna get him down here. He'll take a look at it.
Right.
This is neat. Hang out, hang out.
Okay.
If this movie prop is actually real, it will be worth a fortune because it would be a prized item from the golden age of movies. This is it.
Okay. Any movie props, even insignificant movie props from the 30s, are exceedingly rare. And this is a pretty prominent ship. I mean, when you think of Flash Gordon, what image comes to mind? It's probably going to be this ship, right?
It's the rocket ship with the really cheesy sparkler coming out the back.
Exactly, yeah. So, Rick, what are your concerns about this piece?
This thing is incredibly built.
Right.
And that's what scares the hell out of me. They didn't spend that much money on movie props back then because they didn't have to.
Right. There's a number of things that concern me about it. On the bottom, you know, there's two stamps. This says Fox Films Corporation with an S, and it's actually Fox Film Corporation. So it's like a typo on the logo, which is sort of a red flag. And the other thing is it's Universal Moving Pictures. And in 1922, they changed their name to Universal Picture Corporation, and Flash Gordon came out more than a dozen years later. So it has the wrong name for Universal Pictures.
So what do you think?
There's a lot of people that make replica props that usually are better than the ones that you see on screen because they're made by hobbyists that are putting all this attention to detail, like all the rivets and things like that. Just look, I mean, I'm not saying that it is,
No.
but looking at it, there's nothing about it that looks aged.
All right, well, unfortunately, it's not real until you can prove it's real.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
But it's really, really cool.
Absolutely.
It was nice talking to you.
You too. Thank you. This was not made yesterday, despite what anybody says. This thing's old, and I think that sometime down the road, some information is going to pop up about it. But in the meantime, we'll hang on to it and enjoy it.